Tiffany Aliche was living the dream as a preschool teacher, but when a recession and a financial scam hit her hard, she found herself out of a job and drowning in debt. With no other options, she decided to take control of her finances and create a formula for financial wholeness that has since helped millions of women save and pay off debt. In this video, you'll learn the basics of budgeting, why squirrels are great financial role models, and how to get richish, a refreshing take on financial empowerment that shows taking control of your finances is not scary, but rather empowering. Get ready to take the first step towards financial abundance with Tiffany's inspiring story and tips. Chapter 1. Maria had always been a saver. She had a budget, put money away in her savings account, and even had an emergency fund. But when the coronavirus pandemic hit, her income took a major hit. Her hours were cut, and she wasn't able to work as much as she used to. Suddenly, her savings were dwindling, and she felt overwhelmed. She found herself worrying about how she would pay her bills, let alone save for the future. But then she came across an article about financial wholeness, and it resonated with her. She realized that being financially whole meant having a plan for every area of her finances, including mindset. Maria started by recognizing her money influences and patterns. She wrote down her financial habits, and it was eye-opening. She saw that some of her behaviors were inherited from her parents and that she had some emotional triggers around money. With this newfound awareness, Maria decided to establish a financial voice and take charge of her finances. She pictured a version of herself who was great with money and started making decisions from that perspective. She also created a gratitude list, which helped her stay positive and motivated. Maria then looked at the people around her and realized that some of them were not supportive of her financial goals. She proactively replaced these drains with people who lifted her up and encouraged her. And with every step, Maria felt a sense of empowerment. She realized that her current circumstances were not the end, they were just the beginning. She had the power within her to pursue financial abundance, and she was well on her way. Chapter 2. Lena had always been a planner. She loved making to-do lists and scheduling her day, but when it came to her finances, she was a mess. She didn't have a budget and had no idea where her money was going every month. One day, while scrolling through social media, Lena came across a video by Tiffany Aliche. The video talked about the importance of budgeting and how it could help her take control of her finances. Lena was inspired and decided to give it a try. At first, the process was overwhelming. Lena had to confront her spending habits and face the reality of her debt. She felt ashamed and embarrassed, but she kept going. She followed Aliche's advice and created a money in and money out list. She was shocked to see how much money she was spending on things she didn't need. The next step was to assign control categories to her expenses. Lena realized that she was spending too much money on eating out and entertainment. She decided to cut back on those expenses and start cooking at home more often. Lena also opened up 2 checking accounts and 2 savings accounts, just like Aliche recommended. She automated her deposits and payments, and for the first time in a long time, she felt in control of her money. It wasn't easy, but Lena was determined to stick to her budget. She knew that in the long run, it would be worth it. A few months later, she had paid off some of her debt and had even started saving for a trip she had always dreamed of taking. Lena was proud of herself for taking the first step toward financial wholeness. Chapter 3. Once upon a time, there was a group of squirrels who lived in a forest. They were known to be the most skilled savers in the animal kingdom. They knew how to prepare for the winter season by gathering food and saving it for later. One day, a group of human travelers stumbled upon the forest and were amazed by the squirrels' abilities. They wanted to learn the secrets of squirrel saving and approached the squirrels for advice. The squirrels taught the humans that saving money is like saving acorns. You must collect and store them during the good times to prepare for the lean times. The humans were inspired by the squirrels and decided to adopt their habits. They started budgeting, cutting back on unnecessary expenses, and setting up savings sub-accounts. They also learned the art of mindful spending and were able to shift their focus from wants and likes to needs and loves. The humans became successful savers and were able to weather financial storms and thrive. And so, the legend of the squirrel savers lived on, inspiring generations to come. Chapter 4. Samantha was drowning in debt. She had student loans, credit card debt, and a mortgage to pay off, and it seemed like no matter how hard she tried, she was only falling deeper into the red. But then, one day, she stumbled upon a financial guru's website, and it changed everything. The guru's advice was simple but profound. Change the way you talk about debt. Instead of saying, "I'm in debt," say, "I have a debt to pay." With this shift in mindset, Samantha began to feel a glimmer of hope. She followed the guru's advice and made a list of all her debts, including the amounts, interest rates, and due dates. Then she chose a repayment strategy, opting for a mix of the snowball and avalanche methods to achieve small and big successes along the way. But it wasn't just about paying off her debt. Samantha knew that her credit score was a mess and needed a boost. She followed the guru's advice again, focusing on her payment history and credit utilization to establish a solid credit history. As Samantha dug herself out of debt and improved her credit score, she began to feel a sense of financial wholeness she had never experienced before. And she realized that with the right mindset and strategy, anyone could achieve the same. Chapter 5. Once a young and broke writer, Anna always dreamed of financial security. She tried her hand at many jobs, but none paid well enough to allow her to save. One day, while browsing the internet, she stumbled upon a personal finance blog that changed her life. She started following the steps outlined in the blog and made significant progress in saving money and paying off her debts. However, Anna realized that her current income wasn't enough to reach her financial goals. She knew she had to ask for a raise, but the thought of it made her feel uncomfortable. After mustering up the courage to ask for a raise and being turned down, Anna decided to start a side hustle. She discovered that she had a talent for freelance writing and quickly started to make a name for herself in the industry. Her small side hustle soon turned into a thriving business, allowing her to reach her $500 a month goal and even more. Anna continued to grow her business, and before long, she was able to quit her day job and work for herself full-time. She started investing her money wisely and became financially independent. Now, Anna has retired early and lives comfortably on her investments. She never imagined she would be able to achieve financial wholeness, but she did it by taking control of her income and turning her side hustle into a profitable business. Chapter 6. Sophia had always been frugal, saving every penny she earned. She believed in the power of compound interest, that money could grow if she invested it wisely. It was her secret to financial success, and she was proud of it. But when she met Jake, everything changed. He was charming, handsome, and knew how to have a good time. Sophia was smitten, and soon found herself spending more and more money on their dates and adventures. At first, Sophia didn't think much of it. She had saved enough to cover her expenses and still had plenty left over. But as time went on, she began to notice a trend. Her savings account wasn't growing as fast as it used to, and she was dipping into it more often to cover her expenses. She knew she had to make a change, and fast. Sophia sat down and calculated how much she needed to save to maintain her lifestyle in retirement. The number was staggering, and it made her realize that she couldn't afford to keep living like she was. Sophia started cutting back on her expenses and investing more in her retirement accounts. She also began researching the stock market and made a few small investments. She was nervous at first, but as she saw her money grow, she became more confident. As Sophia's wealth grew, Jake became more and more interested. He had always been a spender, and seeing Sophia's success made him envious. He began pressuring her to invest in riskier ventures, promising huge returns. Sophia was torn. On one hand, she wanted to impress Jake and show him that she was a savvy investor. On the other hand, she didn't want to jeopardize her financial future. In the end, Sophia chose to stick with her tried and true investment strategy. She continued to invest in stocks and bonds, and her wealth continued to grow steadily. Jake eventually moved on to someone else, but Sophia knew that she had made the right choice. Years later, Sophia retired comfortably, with a healthy nest egg that she had grown over decades of consistent investing. She realized that money was indeed like a plant, and that with time and care, it could grow into something beautiful. Chapter 7. As soon as Rachel heard the news, she felt a pit form in her stomach. Her husband had been in a car accident and was in critical condition at the hospital. As she rushed to his side, she couldn't help but think about their finances. What if he couldn't work again? How would they pay for medical bills? They had insurance, but was it enough? As the days passed, Rachel watched her husband fight for his life. But amidst the stress and worry, one thing gave her a small sense of relief. They had taken Aliche's advice and had disability insurance. It wouldn't replace her husband's income entirely, but it would help them cover their bills while he recovered. Eventually, her husband did pull through, but the accident left him unable to work for several months. Without the disability insurance, they would have been in dire straits. But because they had prepared for the worst, they were able to focus on his recovery without the added financial stress. As they looked ahead to the future, Rachel and her husband knew they needed to increase their net worth and create a more solid financial foundation. They set a goal to save more, invest wisely, and pay off their debts. And as they worked towards their goal, they felt a sense of empowerment and control over their financial future. Insurance may have felt like a waste of money before, but to Rachel and her husband, it was a safety net that allowed them to weather the storm. They were grateful for the financial advice that helped them prepare for the unexpected, and they vowed to never underestimate the power of being financially whole. Chapter 8. Sophie had always thought that managing her finances was something she could do on her own. But as she got older and her responsibilities grew, she began to realize that she needed some help. That's when she decided to create her money team. She started by reaching out to a financial educator who had helped her in the past. Together, they came up with a plan to pay off her debt and start saving for the future. She also enlisted the help of her partner, who was just as committed to achieving financial stability. As Sophie's finances became more complicated, she added more people to her team. An accountant helped her with taxes, a financial planner guided her investments, and an insurance broker helped her choose the right policies. But Sophie's journey to financial wholeness wasn't complete without addressing her legacy. She knew that planning for her future after she was gone was an essential step. So she took the time to identify her beneficiaries and create a will. She also made sure there was a plan in place for the care of her children and pets. With her money team in place and her estate plan in order, Sophie felt confident that her finances were in good hands. She knew that achieving financial wholeness wasn't a one-time event but an ongoing process. And with her team by her side, she was ready for whatever the future held. Summary. Imagine this. You've always dreamed of starting your own business, but your financial situation has never allowed it. After watching this video, you decide to take action and follow the steps outlined. You start by setting up a budget, cutting unnecessary expenses, and increasing your savings. You also work on paying off your debt and improving your credit score by using the "jump like Jordan" method. Soon, you're in a much better financial position and can start thinking about investing in your business. You get insurance to protect yourself and your assets, and you create a money team of supportive professionals and friends. As your business grows, so does your net worth, and you're able to create a legacy for your loved ones. All because you took the steps to achieve financial wholeness. Now, the insights and knowledge I gained from reading Get Good with Money were phenomenal. I highly recommend it. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and if you found value in this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more great content. Trust me, you won't regret it.